How to buy some dirt cheap Texas tax deed houses for as little as 25,000 bucks that could be worth 150,000 to $200,000 plus through the wonderful world of tax deed investing. So there are some hot tax deed auctions that are going to be coming up here in just the next few days. So you don't want to miss these. You know, if you're looking for freedom through real estate, tax deeds can be an amazing gateway to finally get you into real estate, because when a tax deed property goes to auction, the property is sold and the mortgage is wiped out. So there can be some grand slam deals if you're wanting to get into real estate and finally start investing. So today we're going to walk through that. Texas is a great place for buying some cheap tax deed properties. Now, is every deal going to be a home run? No, we have to be realistic about this. However, in the world of tax deed investing, there are amazing opportunities and deals at these auctions, and a lot of them are online, so you can do them from home. Because the thing is like a lot of the folks these days, maybe you want to get into real estate, you feel like you're late to the party. You know, if you'd have started in real estate 20 years ago, you'd probably be a millionaire now on a beach and not watching my lovely YouTube live stream here today. But the second best time to start is now. So we're going to do that because there are some hot tax deed auctions coming up. So today I'm going to walk you through a couple. I'm going to show you where to find them, some simple research tips, and to really get yourself in the game. And we'll look at kind of filtering out some of the junk properties and things like that. And, you know, quick disclaimer, obviously, you know, if you're basically struggling, you know, paycheck to paycheck, or you don't have money for groceries, this is probably not going to be the stream for you here today. We want to talk about making money in real estate. And with that, we're going to be working with probably 10 to 25 grand plus. So we have some videos as far as how to buy some cheaper properties on the channel, and you might want to check those out. So let's grab a pen. Let's dive in. If you're new to the channel, it's Dustin Hahn here. We have, I think, over 3,000 videos on tax liens and deeds. I founded taxlienschool.com, and it is the #1 resource for tax lien and deed investors. And we're here to help you make money with tax liens and deeds is the name of the game that we are here to play. So as we go along here today, do me a favor, put any questions that you have in the comments. I will take any questions here live. And then from there, let me see. Yeah, give us thumbs up if you like this stuff. So let's just get right to it. So where the heck do you go to find these Texas tax deed properties is what we're after. So I'm going to show you one of the simplest places that maybe you've seen before. And we're going to pull this up here on my screen. So we will share my screen. Welcome everybody to the screen. And yeah, as we have any questions, pop them in, and be happy to answer any questions live, as this is a live stream, not a robot AI stream, which we see all too much of these days. So check it out. Here's my screen. Boom. So this is one of the easiest resources to find some cheap auction properties that are coming up. I like the site. I can never pronounce the name of the site. I believe it's Linebarger, but we've been using them a long time. If you guys know my story, I used to work on an oil rig, and my spelling has always, it's never been that good, neither. So if somebody from an oil rig can do this stuff, I think there's a very high chance that you guys can as well. And especially with AI these days, they can do all the research for you and just do a bunch of stuff. So come to this Linebarger site here. And all it is, you can see up here, it's taxsale.lgbs, right? So come here, and we're going to do Texas for this example. And the reason I like this website, obviously there's different sites. The county posts this as well. But the reason I like this is because it's really, really simple to get in the game. And this auction is going to be coming up here in about 7 days. So you guys can go to this one, but then there's going to be a ton. So just type in Texas in this site, Texas. Let's make sure to spell that right. There we go. Texas has come up, and Texas is one of our favorite spots for tax lien and deed investing. So check this out. There's 4,236 properties just right here on this site in Texas that are coming up to auction. So let me show you how to navigate the chops here on this. And remember, today is about tax deeds. So what we're going to do is very simple. First, you want to select a county, but if you zoom out, you can kind of see a bunch of stuff that's going on here in Texas on this site. You can click around a little bit, get familiar with it. But the thing that we're really after right now is the properties coming up at this latest auction. So here we go. We're going to select, just for this example purpose, you have all these counties in here that these guys cover that make up these 4,236 properties that are going to auction. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to do Harris County. Now, we've been to this auction many times over the years, and we've done well over 50 properties at the Harris County auction. So this one's coming up. We're very familiar with this one, but remember, Texas has 254 counties in the mix. So this one is in person. However, there's like Dallas is online, which is great. So you guys can attend that one from home. But let's just see what's going on. Because remember, the name of the game here today is cheap property. You know, getting a house for 25 grand that you can go and flip and maybe make 20, 40, $50,000 on, or even 100,000. You get some massive home runs at these sales. So super simple, select Harris County. Now, sale type. Okay, this has future resale, sale date, that April 7th one coming up. So that is coming up here soon. So this is a hot list because remember, the closer that these properties get to the sale, the more of them redeem, right? And why is that? Because it's human nature. Who wants to pay their taxes? Nobody does, right? So people are going to leave it till the last minute. So if you start researching this list like months in advance, it's almost a waste of time. And a lot of the times it's not even available to you. So for anybody just joining, welcome to the party. We're looking at Texas tax deeds. And if you guys like this, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And then before I forget here, just a quick note for anybody who is tuning in here today. So one of the things that we've done is a lot of folks have been wanting some help with this stuff. So we're going to be building for a few people just custom 90-day freedom blueprints. It is a custom blueprint to help you get your first deal in 90 days. And it is 100% customized to you and your goals. So if you have 20 to 50 grand ready to go for deals, we can build you one of these totally customized to get in the game. So we're going to do 20 of those this week. There is a link below in the description and it will be 100% customized. So normally we charge for these, but we're going to do 20 of these this week and it will tell you the best counties, exactly where to go, massive value. So you can schedule a call down below and get a totally free 90-day freedom implementation session. That's in the description. So we're really trying to provide you guys with everything you need across the board. So back to the screen here today, and not that one. Let's go to this one. Not that one either. Where did we go? Okay. So we're over here. And what we want to be doing on this site is we're going to come over here to the Line Barger site and we're going to filter this. So you can see right here with my mouse, we're going to filter this by status. Okay. So we want to go scheduled for auction. All right. So what this means is there's currently 138 properties that are going to go to auction here. And of these properties, so remember, if you have the whole list, there's properties that are already canceled. So we can come over here up here. And if you go canceled, these will be all the properties that are canceled. So they're going to pop up and there's 84. This means these folks have paid their taxes. So next step, schedule for auction is key. So the next thing we want to be doing here is we want to go and we want to set, like, let's say for the purpose of this, you know, we don't want to go more than 25,000 bucks. So we want to set another filter here as far as maximum bid, you know, and let's put it at 30,000 bucks. Okay. So 3,000, 30,000 bucks. So that means everything here today, we are not going to bid. Well, we're going to get in the game around that $30,000 mark. The bud should not be over that. So the simplest thing that we're looking for is you can sort these. Let me see here. There's a search parameter. Sometimes you can sort them by value. It depends on the site. But the biggest thing we're going to be doing here right now is we want to look at these spreads. So for example, you can see here, this one, minimum bid 15 grand, a judge value 228. However, things aren't maybe as they appear, right? So let's go. This is saying a judge value 228, but the picture I'm seeing right away doesn't look like it might be the wrong information. So let's come over here and take a quick look at the street view of this property. So I don't think this is a $228,000 property. But you would not believe the number, and this is in January 2026. So if you click here, you can go back in time to December 2007, and we can see it in its full glory here. But in 2026, this thing is looking rough. And let me share with you a big mistake, and you won't believe this. It happens a lot. So this property opening bid 15 grand. A judge value is 228. So I don't know where they came up with that number. But if you look at the details on this thing, it's in rough condition. But people will bid up these things at the auction sometimes, and it's absolutely bonkers. Like, they won't even look at the pictures; they'll buy these things. So we obviously want to avoid things like that. So check this one out. This could be fun. So remember, there's all sorts of properties that go to these auctions, and you have everything. You can have convenience stores, car washes. Many have heard my car wash or my convenience store, where we bought a convenience store for $6,100, and the thing had a renter in it, paid us $1,000 per month from day one, which was super cool. So there's all sorts of property. You can see here on my screen right now this commercial property, but you came here for some houses. So let's take a quick look at that. So this could be a good one here. Check it out. Opening bid, $3,000. Value, $159, right? So we're saying buy cheap, $25,000, $30,000 sometimes. So if you have 25, you see the opening bid, we can bid up to 25 grand on this property. So everybody here today should be doing some research on this website to get in the game. And it's super simple. Just come over here, copy the address, and put it into Google. The fun thing about this stuff is it's not as they say, rocket appliances. So come over here. And speaking of rockets, they're on the way to the moon today, which is pretty cool. That hasn't happened in like 50 years. So far, so good. That's pretty fun to see. I've always wished I could have seen an Apollo launch. That would have been pretty fun. I think the old school space programs were pretty fascinating. So check it out. Here we go. So we're in a little better odds for us right now. But this picture, February 2022, we want to keep that in mind. And so we're going to come over here, and we want to just kind of see what's going on. And this is all just basic research. Just paste the address here, and let's just go see what's happening here on Zillow. As far as this property goes, Zillow has it at $182,000. And from here, we're looking 3-bed, 1-bath. Okay, we can see the market value over the years. Boom, it was around 102 in 2018. It went up here during the old COVID. It came down, so we're around 180. So like, this is the first step all of you guys can be doing here tonight. We can look at comparable homes over here, 206, 180, 226. So all of this stuff is it's the gateway into getting into this business. And I know most of you guys have not done a deal. So I want to encourage everybody to get in the game and start taking some action. And another thing you can do is you can obviously use AI to investigate these things. So obviously everybody has a ChatGPT account at this point in the world, in the life, for the most part. If not, you need to get on it. But basically what I did is I tried to build like custom GPTs for ourselves internally to be able to speed this thing up, right? So let's say I want to figure out the rental income for this. You could just type into GPT. I built a rental income evaluator, but I would literally just say, what's the rent here? Paste the address, and then let's see what's going on. Okay, rental estimates, 1,400 to 1,700. Lower end, older condition. Most realistic, about $1,600 per month. Neighborhood demand, Southeast Houston. Okay. So as we're coming here, and for the Google algorithm, I always forget to do this. We need to just say for the Google algorithm here that this is, bear with me. Google always forgets. Where did we go here? This is for educational purposes, Google. I am not revealing anybody's personal information that is not on a public website. All information here is public. So sometimes the Google AI moderator who sees us and hears and monitors our every step thinks that I'm showing like somebody's like super personal information, which I'm not. Okay. So Google, I just wanted to say that to you as we have our relationship. So I see the streams coming in. Guys, do me a favor. Ask some questions. Happy to dive into questions here as we go as well on our adventure. So coming back to the AI, so everybody obviously should be using AI. So we look at the rental income in the area. We have some homes within a mile renting for 1,500, similar properties. Market trends here we can get. Properties have stabilized. So AI just gives us all of this stuff at a glance, right? So even assuming a 180 purchase price, it's an annual rent of 19,000. Taxes here estimated 3,500 per year. Insurance 1,800 per year, and then maintenance. So you're looking at a net income around 11.9 at a 6 to 7 cap rate. But that's if you're paying market value, and who wants to do that, right? Let's just ask on this thing, what's the cap rate if I pay 25,000? What's the cap rate at $25,000? Here we go. Let's take a quick look. If we buy this thing, 25,000 bucks, reality check, 48%, not normal. So realistic, it's saying 10 to 12, but we are tax deed investors. So we want good deals. Now, when we look at this property here, as far as the, let's be real, as far as realistic expectations for you guys wanting to get into real estate and get some good deals. Right now, we're looking at Harris County. Harris County is one of the wildest auctions that you're ever going to go to. And we go to this auction regularly. And one of the things I like about it is we'll hop on a plane and we'll fly there, right? So I've been going to this auction now. 22 years ago was the first time I went to the Texas tax deed auction in Houston. And back then, man, it was going back in time. Like we had paper maps. So, we'd take, when we had a paper map, we would take this whole thing, imagine a paper map, and then we'd have to use a highlighter and we'd highlight all of our stops. It would take probably like 2-3 hours just to highlight our routes. We'd stay up late and then we'd hit the road. And if you guys have ever been to Texas, we're driving with a map and, you got to imagine not familiar with the place. And there's this big, gigantic octopus of on-ramps and off-ramps. And then you miss one and then you loop around and it's like 25 minutes just to get back, only to do it twice. So you're down an hour. So this stuff used to be very tedious back in the day. Whereas now, obviously, we have the GPS just right here on our phone, which is very, very cool. So let's talk more about this. When it comes to Texas, like I said, Houston is the zoo. This place is the zoo of the zoo because here in Texas, you have, let me see, what is it, 7 or 8 precincts? I believe it is 8 precincts. Okay, so check it out. When it comes to Harris County, there are 8 precincts. And by the way, guys, if you're liking this stuff, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. And remember, for this week only, well, not this week, we're going to do about 20, we call them a 90-day first deal freedom plan with tax deeds. We're making 20 people this week, if you have, say, 20 to 40 grand set aside for investing, a custom 90-day freedom blueprint for this stuff. And it is totally customized for where you are and your goals. So it gives you a breakdown of the best counties for you to invest in. And it's a super massive value. So that's in the description below. You can schedule a call. We're gonna do probably 20 of these because it does take time, and it's a great way to see what's available there for you as well. And then if you want to work with us a bit more, we can extend that invitation. But this is below to book a call in the description. So coming back here to Harris County, when you look here, the city is broken up into 8 different precincts. Okay. So if you're going to go to Harris, the big thing here is to realize that all of these auctions happen at the same time. So it is chaos. So if you're just going to lone wolf this operation, one of the things to be aware of is just pick certain areas in certain precincts. Okay. So pick a precinct in an area that you're maybe interested in or familiar with, and do 2 precincts if you're lone wolfing it. Okay. Because you're going to have to monitor both tax deed sales at the same time. So that's something to keep in mind. For us, when we go, we generally, sometimes we have students who come with us. Sometimes we go by ourselves, but we'll cover all 8 because we have the, divide and conquer amongst generally 4 to 8 of us when we go. So for yourself, you need to figure this out if you're going to go to Texas. But what I'm discussing here doesn't just apply to Texas, Houston or Harris. It applies to all of Texas. So you can go and use these lessons, and that's the goal that we're after here, is to apply these lessons in any state as well. But Texas is one of our favorites. So when it comes to Harris County, a rookie mistake is people come, and what happens is they look at properties spread out in every precinct, and then they're all over the place, and they don't get anything. So that's one part of it as well. Make sure you have a cashier's check ready to go. Make sure you're registered, and make sure you're getting eyes on these properties. And when it comes to realistic expectations, so when I got into this, I learned about tax deed investing on a weekend seminar back in the day, 22 years ago. And 2 days after I learned about this, I bought my first property in Washington. It was 40 acres of land. I bought it for $4,200 and I was hooked. I never looked back. So it was worth 40 grand. We sold it for 20, made 15,000 bucks. And if you know my story, I was immediately done with the oil field and never going back to my day job of doom after that. And if it weren't for this, like the late night infomercials, if it weren't for tax deed investing, I wouldn't be here, which is absolutely true. So, if you're watching this and, maybe your back's starting to hurt, or, your job, you don't like it, like this can be a great freedom tool to be getting into real estate as well. And especially if you feel like, maybe you missed out, maybe you feel like you're behind, as far as I know, that's a lot of folks these days, wishing they would have started 20 years ago, then this can be a great business for you to get into if you take action. So let's see. It looks like several people on the stream. Guys, do me a favor. Let me know your name and your area you're in, as far as your city, your state. And I can always tailor the stream a little bit here as we go, but ask any questions as well. Let's see here. Somebody's asking a question. How do you tell which property is tax deed versus foreclosure on the website in the Harris County? Are the OTCs you have to apply for to get selected for the best price? So, Harris County Texas often doesn't do a lot of over-the-counter properties. So OTC means over-the-counter because it didn't sell at the tax deed auction. And in most areas, if a property doesn't sell at the tax deed sale, it'll go to, behind the counter. OTC is what they call it. And you can go and buy it for the back taxes, no bidding, no mortgage, which is great. But in Texas, what's going to happen is the fact that they're going to have an auction again next month. So generally, they just roll it over. There are some counties that do repository lists and things like that, but it's few and far in between in Texas. So remember, what we're looking at right here is the tax deed sale. So if you guys go to the Linebarger website here, sounds French, Lineburger, one or the other. I don't even know what it is, but I know the site. I'm just terrible at spelling. So this is tax sale, right? So sale type, we have already selected tax sale, future sale, resale. But if you really want to know, the easiest way is to just type in Texas tax deed, or no, just go Harris County. Just go Harris County tax deed auction. Okay, spell auction right. And then we have this, and then you have the Harris County list right here, ready to go. So you can click this baby, and here we go. This is basically the same list that we're kind of looking at. But one of the things that I like about the Linebarger website is the fact you just have more filtering. You have more filtering parameters on here, and check it out. So here, here's one for you. 70 grand. She looks like a little rough shape. You might need the weed whacker and a little duct tape to get that thing rental ready. So a judge value 70 grand, minimum bid 58. We probably don't want that one, but everything here is going to be tax sale. Okay. The foreclosure auction is often going on at the same time, but here's the kicker for Harris County. So you can use both of these sites to operate, but you can sort here by a judge value, which is cool. So we can see here a judge value. Here we go. So you can see a lot of canceled, right? And obviously we don't want to bid on those. And a big mistake that people make is they they bid on things that have been canceled. So we don't want to do that. So this site's okay as well, but the Lineberger, I'm going to just say it between Lineberger and Lineberger every time. So anybody on either side of the fence can make fun of my English skills. So from here on this site, I like how we can filter it as far as what's active and going to the sale. So let's discuss some red flags as far as, because just as important as making money is not losing money, right? And I've seen this, we see it all the time where people just lose their butt at these sales because like they're absolute rookies. And here's a couple things. Red flag number one, always get a current picture of the property. So whether you're going there in person yourself, or you're going to send somebody, like we do a lot of this stuff remotely. So we'll send somebody to go take pictures, drive the property for us. So that's super important. So that's red flag number one in Texas. Make sure you're, you're going to get, what do you call it? The recent picture of the property is very important. The next thing, so back to your question here, right? So Texas, it's pretty straightforward as far as they're going to be tax sales. But what the average person doesn't know is in Texas, the sheriff will also be selling homeowner association properties, so known as HOA properties, homeowner association. So in Texas, there's like tons of little kingdoms of homeowner associations all over the place, and they can be pretty high. But if you don't pay your homeowner association tax, the county can send that to the the HOAs can send that and have the auction off the property for the amount owed to the homeowner association. However, the red flags here are a couple things. One, when they go to sale like that, it doesn't wipe out the mortgage. And then two, you inherit everything. If there's outstanding taxes, all that sort of stuff, you inherit everything that goes with it. So one of the biggest mistakes, and Josh says this, just because it's at a tax auction doesn't mean it's a tax auction property. So that's why you have to keep an eye out for the sale type when it's going. So it always needs to say tax sale or sale. Okay, steer clear of anything else. The next thing that we need to be aware of in Texas is what do you call it? Homestead exemption. Okay, so homestead exemption is basically, so Texas. Let's clear up a couple what do you call it? Misconceptions about Texas. So anytime you hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, 25% interest in Texas," big money on the interest, they clearly don't know what they're talking about, really, because so the way Texas works is there is a 6-month redemption period. Texas is known as what's called a redeemable deed state. So in a redeemable deed state, what's going to happen is you buy the property at the auction, and in Texas, the homeowner has 6 months to redeem you and pay you back, plus 25% interest on top of what you got the property for. So say you got it for, say the opening bid's $3,000, but you get it for 25. And from there, what can happen is if the homeowner is going to redeem you, they have to pay the 25 grand plus the interest rate of 25%, whether they redeem you on, day one or day 180. So there's a lot of folks like, oh yeah, let's get that interest rate, but it rarely happens. So never count on that interest rate. Like we've done at least 50 deals there and we've never been redeemed. So let's just look real quick here. I'm going to show you guys, everybody take a screenshot of this for your tax lien and deed knowledge bank. So remember, half of the states are going to be tax deed states, right? Where you get the property. Great. Pay the outstanding taxes, you get the property. Half of the states are going to be a tax lien state. Very, very simple. You pay the taxes on the homeowner's behalf. You pay it to the county. And when the homeowner pays late, they have to pay you a fixed interest rate of sometimes up to 36%, which is pretty good. You can make good money there. But for the tax deed states, take a screenshot of this. Anything in red is going to be tax deeds. Anything in blue is going to be a redeemable deed state like Texas. So remember, the easiest way to get here, just come to taxlienschool.com. Oh, here we go. Click here. Just visit our taxlienschool.com. Shameless branding here on the hoodie. in case we haven't seen it. Oh yeah, and you can always get the free book there as well. But click on this knowledge vault here, and this is going to take you to the Tax Lien and Deed knowledge vault, where we have information on all 3,200 tax lien and deed states. We have auction maps on here, and our goal tells you auctions that are happening. We can see here Georgia's coming up next month, Texas, Dallas County redeemable deed. You just click on it and you can see what's going on. So everybody can see a week's free of that. And if you click on Texas here, you will get the details of the auction. So we tried really hard to create the most valuable resource within the tax lien and deed community for everybody. So we have like a little army behind the scenes who runs this stuff, because a lot of it still has to be pulled manually. AI is not quite there yet. So take a screenshot of this. Texas is, remember, 25% per 6 months. Now, if it's a homestead, there is a 2-year redemption period. And if they don't redeem in year 1, or if they do in year 2, it's a 50% penalty. So up to 75% interest. However, you could be waiting up to 2 years for that. So remember, you can come here, take a screenshot of this right now. You can always come back and check it out after. Looks like some folks are tuning in. We appreciate everybody. Put some questions there in the box. So when it comes to the Texas misconception, the fact is, expect to get the property. So you just can't sell it for 6 months. However, if the property's vacant, you can be renting it out. If there's a renter in there, you can start collecting rent right away, which is very cool. There's been times where we've got property and we've collected rent the same day, which is very cool. So keep an eye out for that, and don't let people say like, oh, we're going to go to Texas and just make a boatload of interest. That I have heard of some folks who might play the homestead game as far as going for the interest rate there, but that's like a 2-year game that I doubt most of you want to play. Like, we want to get into this. We want to flip properties quickly, is the name of the game. So, if you have $20,000, that can get you into this game. So welcome to the folks who just got here today. So good question here. Let's see, Mark, welcome. Jensen, we do a lot of auctions in Pennsylvania as well. And let's see, come over here, your question. I'll get to all the questions. How long would it take to create passive income that replaces a consistent paycheck? Well, first, it depends on your how much money you're making right now, right? If the goal is, let's see, how long would it take to create passive income? So obviously, everybody's going to have their own unique starting point, right? So let's say for this example, we're talking about a $25,000 property, or say you get the property for 25 grand, and say it's worth 150. So this stuff can happen at tax deed auctions. Now, the fair warning, is it going to happen at your first auction? Maybe not. It might not happen till your 5th auction, or you might have to go find different auctions. But what I can tell you is everybody who sticks with tax liens and deeds will get good deals. So everybody's on their own timeline. There's been times where we've went to 7 auctions in a row and haven't got anything. And then on the 7th auction, we got 8 property. So you can bet our morale was a little bit in the toilet during that period. But it's one of those things where if you stick with it and you're consistent, you will get these deals. So, back to the example that we were talking about earlier on the property. Let's just bring it up here. I'll share my screen again. Where did it go? Here we go. So I crunched the numbers in the AI here as far as a rental income, right? So say we get this property for even 25 grand, right? And that can happen. So if you're looking at a rental income here of 1,600 per month, annual rent, 1,600, 19,200, we got taxes, insurance, maintenance. So on this property, you're going to make about 11,000 bucks or 11,900 per year. Call it, 11,900. So, as far as how much your monthly income is, if you just need 5 of these paid for, if you're making around 5 grand a month. Depends what you want to do and where you want to go with this. I actually created an interesting conservative formula as far as for people, like if you want to retire through tax liens and deeds or through real estate. I made a super simple conservative formula for you guys to strive to, or if you want to get into this. So let me show it to you here as far as we call it one of the freedom formulas that we have come up with. So I'm going to come down here. I know you can't see my screen, but I will share it here right now. So I call it the 750K freedom formula. They could pay you 100 grand per year. So check it out. I'll show you where this is. So if you want to live on $100,000 per year, all you need is $1.5 million worth of real estate that's paid off. With tax liens and deeds, you can get some of that at a fraction of market value, even for maybe $300,000-$400,000. But let's be very, very conservative here. So I'm going to share my screen, coming back to your question as far as passive income here. And, a note on passive income, it's like, for those of us watching, I always keep this thing on my desk, the sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. And everybody here should have a sense of urgency. Everything is getting harder. Everything's getting more expensive, especially with AI. The speed at which you can analyze properties these days and make this business work is faster than ever. So what that means is if you seize the moment now, you will be able to move faster than ever. But what this also means that if you don't act on this now, you're going to miss the opportunity and you're going to be so far in the dust that it's going to be hard to catch up, because the folks who are using AI to make this stuff work are going very, very fast. So, I just showed the example earlier of just calculating the rental income with a push of a button. From here, like I've built GPTs on pretty much every single state. So for example, my Texas tax deed expert here, I made a little, what do you call it? A GPT. And I say, find me property up to 90% off. And I click the button and then it goes and it starts finding me auctions ready to go. So obviously the first one that comes up in Texas, because we're in the GPT of Texas that I built, is Texas. It tells me the population, the major cities, the tax assessor. The next one's Dallas County, population of 2.6 million. And then it just gives me all of the links here to the tax sale websites with a push of a button. It can go super, super quick. So for anybody who's using AI is going to go way, way faster. So back to the question as far as when it comes time to retire. We'll get to the questions. And real quick, guys, for this month, what we're doing is something very, very cool, to where we've developed a really good way to get into the business. And we're doing what we call a 90-day tax deed freedom blueprint, and it is 100% customized to your goal. So what we do is we sit down with you, we tell you which counties to go to based on your budgets, where you want to be. And, if you got 20, 30 grand set aside for getting into deals right away, we're going to build 20 per week of these freedom blueprints. And we could sell these for easily $297, but in the description below, you can schedule a call. It will be 100% customized to you, your counties, and we will give you a 90-day first deal freedom plan. So those are below in the description if anybody wants to book a call, and we're going to do 20 of them this week. And from there, only if you're ready to get into real estate and you have at least 20 to 30K capital set aside, because these are bigger properties that we're going after at big discounts. So that's in the description. So come back to your question of, as far as passive income and retiring, I came up with just a very conservative, we call it like a freedom formula here. And I call it the 750K freedom formula. So conservatively, even if you bought tax deed property for 60% of market value, what that would mean, you could basically turn that into 100 grand per life. So if you have $1.5 million in, say, tax deed houses, and you get it at 60%, that's 750 grand invested into deals. And even at a modest 6 to 7% return, that's going to give you, $100,000 per year for the rest of your life. And that's just super, super simple. Now at tax deed auctions, we've bought things for 90% off market value. We've bought things for 20, 30, 40, 50%. So as long as you show up, getting control and buying discounted real estate can go very, very quickly. if you're willing to put in a little bit of elbow grease for getting into this business. You know, tax deeds might not be the most glamorous thing. You used to have to go through a whole bunch of lists and things like that. But now, like, AI does it all for us, which is awesome. So you can go faster than ever. Let's see, somebody's saying here, oh yeah, how do we find out the outstanding property taxes? So obviously it's going to be different. Some places, the property, when you buy it at the auction, it will satisfy all of the property taxes, okay? However, when you look in Texas here, I'm going to show you something very, very important for Harris County, okay? This is a big one that people miss. So in Harris County, if you come over here, okay, so you see the cause number here in Texas. This one's canceled, but it says cause number 2020, okay? The minimum bid is $32,000 and the cause number is 2020. The cause number is always up to what year the taxes haven't been paid. So if you buy this, there could be 6 years of other taxes owing. You see this one, cause number 2024. So that's going to basically bring the taxes current to 2024. Okay. This one, 2025. So when you pay the 33 grand, that should bring it up to 2025. This one here, 2023. So very important to keep that. So check this out. Oh, this one's canceled. $31,000, but not too bad. Let's see here. Before we bid, so important note. Before we bid, what should we do to make sure there's no hidden taxes? So obviously do a title search. We're going to do more of that here next week. We'll do a super big deep dive on title, but we do have a lot of great title trainings on the channel from Tax Title Services, or just Google or go to look at our Texas title videos. But the big issues we're looking out for are city liens and fines and violations, because the city's not a big fan of wiping out their own liens. So what that means is the city, you know, we've seen grass cutting liens sometimes as much as like 50 grand. So the city generally doesn't like to wipe out themselves. You want to keep an eye out for that. Is very important. And then you want to make sure it's not an HOA. Also very important. And then you obviously want to make sure it is there. It's not burnt to the ground. Let's see. Do we do California? Yes, we do lots of California. We will do a California probably this week. So keep an eye on the live streams. Let's see. Do they have 2 here this month? Yeah, there's California coming up on deck right now. So definitely recommend that as well, is the name of the game. So yeah, I hope you guys like this for getting into real estate here. And I'll just show you one more thing as far as we go. And if you like this stuff, do me a favor, just hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You know, my agenda here is pretty straightforward as far as our goal is to provide the tax lien and deed community with as much free information as possible to help you get started. And from there, you know, a lot of folks are like, oh, if it works so good, why is this guy teaching it, right? We never intended to really have a YouTube channel that would kind of be the #1 in the niche. Just kind of took off as far as put up a couple of videos. And then from there, full transparency, it is a business for us as well, but we give away as much as humanly possible. So if you want free information, we have that. If you want help and hand-holding, you know, we do that as well. And one of the things, like I've said a few times, is, you know, I got my first deal 2 days after going to learning about tax deeds at a 2-day seminar. The seminar was like $5 grand, like 22 years ago. And then 2 days after, but I met a guy at the real estate seminar. His name was Bob. I met him in Washington, and he was literally ended up being like my mentor on the ground. And we went and looked at properties together, and even looking at properties with him for like 2 days. When it came time to the auction, I was terrified. Like I wasn't raising my hand to bid. And he's like, Dustin, get this property. And he literally grabbed me by the hand and like held my hand up. And if it weren't for him, I would not be where I am today. And I wouldn't have had that first property, which was like my gateway drug into the liens and deeds. So, you know, we can see online, everything you want to learn how to do these days is for free online, right? And ironically, we're in a world where people are more unhealthy, more miserable, more depressed than ever. But yet all of the information is there. So for some of you guys, you might need more than information, and you'll kind of know where you are in that realm. So, we have a ton of information here, but for anybody who wants to get started with this stuff, like I mentioned, we're going to do just a couple 90-day tax deed freedom blueprint calls. And the goal is to give you a customized plan to getting your first safe tax deed within the next 90 days. So there's a link below in the description, and you can just come here, schedule a call. And, if you have 20 to 30,000 ready to go into deals, this is for folks who want to take action literally right now. So basically, we're going to give you a plan. We're going to show you the counties to go to based on your budgets. This for you if if you're 40 years old, feel like you missed out and you're ready to go. But more importantly, you want to get into this and you don't want to make a $40,000 mistake. We're going to do that. So we're going to give away 20 of these if you want one. So it's for folks who are ready to go now, right? Like if you can barely pay your rent or buy groceries, this is not for you. It's for folks who are serious, and go in the description below and we'll build you a custom plan. So you can schedule that. Not all good. We're going to be on here again tomorrow. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and it's time. Take some action, right? Whether, go follow along with what I just did here in Texas, or go find some deals, or schedule a call. The key thing, take some action, come back, ask some questions tomorrow. We'll see you then. I appreciate everybody tuning in. All right. Have a good one.